Anything you have to say about Nepal and India relations?
I'm concerned as a citizen of India, as a citizen of South Asia. I'm concerned about the negative turn that India-Nepal relationship has taken, not just now, for many years, since...
It's been decades.
Yeah, it's almost a decade now, ever since that situation which in Nepal was perceived as blockade. Indian government denied it. Some Nepalese political parties also think it was not a blockade from India's side. There's a contestation. But the fact is that it was perceived and seen in Nepal by a very large number of people
And
as
was
India
blockade,
choking
I
them.
say as well.
Yeah, as Indian government choking them, as blockade. That is a wound in Nepali memory. And as an Indian, I would like that wound to be healed. And that can only be healed.
And that wasn't the first time, that was the third time.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, over the years, you see, when I was growing up, I've grown up in a atmosphere where Nepali politics and Indian politics were very integrated, where Indian leaders, my heroes like Jayaprakash Narayan, Koirala was not only his friend, he was also a political comrade.
Yeah.
They would not say your country, my country. They said our countries. How do we take them forward? This is where I have grown. And to now see the situation which has come to this stage is very painful. I think it needs to be addressed. As an Indian, I would say, in South Asia, and this is not just about Nepal, what's happening vis-a-vis Bangladesh is very painful. What's happening with Maldives, what's happening in Sri Lanka. Pakistan and China, of course, have always been strained relationship with India. I say this in India too, and I would say this here. In a subcontinent, the first responsibility lies with the biggest country. India is the biggest country in terms of size, population, economy, and military might. So the first moral responsibility resides with India. And if one neighbor has a problem with Indian government, I can understand, one or the other always has some problem. But if all of them have a problem,
yes,
then as an Indian, I should sit back and say, am I doing something wrong? That's first. Second, I would say, let us not see relationship between India and Nepal as the relationship between Nepali government and Indian government. There is relationship between you and me.
Yes.
Relationship between the people of India and people of Nepal, which is a very, very close relationship. रोटी बेटी का संबंध है हमारा तो border नहीं है. पूरी दुनिया में ऐसा example नहीं मिलेगा आपको open border का. So in a situation where we have open border, we also need to have open heart and open mind.
From both sides?
From both sides, yes. And as I said, normally if I'm looking at any continent in the world, if US has tension with all its neighbors, then I would say you are the largest country.
And you have
You should look at it. You have a responsibility. I would say that to the US.
And don't play big brother game.
Absolutely. The beauty is, and this is something I keep saying in India. I'm not saying Indian government is playing big brother, etc. Some Indian bureaucrats have this temptation, to play. When America does it, we say, who are you? Why are you doing this? But when we do it in our neighborhood, we think it's all right, we can do it. I think as a principle, this is something we should do. I mean, as a Democrat, as a Republican, as someone who has believed in equality, I would say in the world, equality is not only about people. Nations, countries, their government should also be treated equally and respectfully. Something has gone wrong in the relationship of Indian government with many neighboring states. In Nepal politics, India becomes such an important issue India ka agent, India ka dalal. That's something you can impose on anyone, anytime.
Yes.
And so I really think that 2 or 3 things are important. Number one, as I said, India as the largest country must reflect and think. Number 2, we should find ways to ensure that you and I do not look at each other through the lens of our governments. You are not the government of Nepal, and I am not the government of India. You know, I can still, if my government is lying, I can say they are lying. If your government is lying, you can say jhoot bol rahe hain. You know, you and I can still be friends, even when our governments are not friends. And there also is a very important responsibility of media, because most people consume foreign policy through the media. The way media presents it is what looks like the truth. Domestic politics, people still question the media. Foreign policy, they say, हाँ ठीक ही बोल रहा होगा, whatever. And I see on both sides, there is a tendency to play up the differences. Indian media mostly publishes about Nepal what is given to them by Ministry of External Affairs. This is Foreign Ministry's view of Nepal. This is not India's view of Nepal. I see a similar tendency in Nepal as well. You know, that is what needs to be questioned.